Back with breaking news coming in, and this one on the latest flashpoint between Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and Delhi's Lieutenant Governor. The face-off only intensifying, viewers, wherein the Delhi Lieutenant Governor has now written to the Chief Minister and has flagged 4 CAG audit reports, 4 Comptroller and Auditor General reports for action. The letter points out the serious irregularities and even questions delays over the action on reports.
We have Meghna joining us from the Newspit now. Meghna, please read from the letter and tell us what are the irregularities of serious nature that the LG has highlighted?
Well, absolutely, Swati. The LG has written this letter to the Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal in yet another state versus centre face-off which has begun. Times Now has managed to access this letter. He begins by saying, "Dear Arvind ji," it is addressed to the Chief Minister, and it says that as per the Government of National Capital Territory of India, under Article 151 of the Constitution, every CAG report related to the accounts of the NCT shall be submitted to the Lieutenant Governor, who shall then lay it in the Legislative Assembly. This is the first irregularity which is being pointed out. In the next paragraph, the LG writes that it is to state that 4 such audit reports of the CAG, 4 such audit reports were all pending from 2017 to 21. These audit reports were all pending until recently with the Deputy Chief Minister, Manish Sisodia, the right-hand man of Arvind Kejriwal, and without being laid on the floor of the Assembly. The delay in laying this report was repeatedly flagged. Now look at the words also which are being used, that these delays were repeatedly flagged by this office, which is the office of the LG, with the last reminder being sent on 15th of June as well. These are specific dates which are being given by the LG. Eventually, all the above reports were laid before the Assembly on the 5th of July after considerable gap. Now, these words are very significant because it is as per the Constitution, the Article 151 of the Constitution. There is a delay which has happened despite the laws being very clear. What does it say? And that's the second part. That's very damning as well. It is observed that there are many irregularities which are pointed out in the above reports of serious nature, requiring urgent attention. If it requires urgent attention, why from 2017, when these reports were coming in, till now, till 2022, these reports have not been tabled by the our government, is the question that the LG is raising. He also says that the key responsibility of the government, which is expected to ensure judicious use of public funds, inordinate delay in relaying these audit reports before the Legislative Assembly, not only delayed timely corrective action, but also indirectly resulted in perpetuating the stated deficiencies, thus defeating the purpose of the audit in terms of ensuring efficiency, accountability and compliance with the laid down procedures. Remember, this, Swati, as well as Kritsween, comes after a massive face-off that we have seen between the LG and Arvind Kejriwal government, both of them saying that the other has overstepped this boundary.
Absolutely. We can stay on with us. We have Shehzad Poonawala joining us on the broadcast now. There is a long list of issues that have led to face-off between the LG and the Chief Minister. In the latest episode, Shehzad Poonawala, the LG has written a letter to the Chief Minister highlighting delay in action on the CAG reports.
You know, I have not seen the specific letter that you're alluding to, but I can tell you that every CAG report has actually pointed out to the irregularities and corruption that the Delhi government and the Arvind Kejriwal is indulging in. Whether it is the Hawala scam of Satyendra Jain on which courts have ruled, whether it is the liquor scam of Manish Sisodia on which there is a CBI inquiry and which has been proven to be corruption, whether it is the scam in building school rooms, whether it is the scam in giving advertisements, whether it is the scams that are being done in various other sectors like the Delhi Jal Board, there is scam after scam under which this government is functioning, and therefore no action is being taken either on the ministers involved in the scam. Mr. Satyendra Jain is in jail for the last 2 months, but he's not been removed as a minister. Mr. Sisodia continues despite the CBI probe, and you are seeing every day Kejriwal doing ABCD: A for advertising, B for blaming others, C for cover-up of corruption, and D for deviation. And therefore, I think now it is time for Mr. Kejriwal to tell us कि अपने पार्था पर कब कार्रवाई करोगे केजरीवाल जी? कट्टर ईमानदार नहीं, आप कट्टर करप्ट हो.
All right, Shehzad, now this shows how legislative functioning, of course, has hit a bottomless pit in the national capital. But the question is also then, had the BJP all this while demanded its tabling? As the opposition it's supposed to.
Look, we as a political party have been on the street in assembly and on every platform trying to demand accountability of the government of Delhi. But unfortunately, the government of Delhi believes only in management of media and trying to divert the real issues and flag off issues which are irrelevant. And therefore, they have been successfully trying to deviate and change the narrative. But the fact is that today, whether it's the Hawala scam, whether it's the liquor scam, whether it's the school scam, we have been proven right. Orders have come from courts and low courts. And therefore, Mr. Kejriwal must tell us that why isn't he taking action on this corrupt minister?
Okay, all right. Shehzad Poonawala, thank you for joining us. I want to go back to Meghna. Meghna, let's also talk about the observations on page number 2, in which the LG has highlighted how the grants that were received for the development of capital assets were irregularly diverted and utilized for other purposes.
Absolutely. These were all civic issues which directly affect the people of Delhi. So the politics and the face-off aside, let's look at what it means for Delhi. For example, in the first, and there are 4 such CAG reports, in the first CAG report, this was in the year 2022, only 2 years later was this tabled. This is regarding the social, general and the economic sectors for the year which had ended in 2018. Grants in aid received for the development of the capital assets were irregularly diverted and utilized for other purposes. Why was this done? This was done by under the Delhi Jal Board. Who is the head of the Delhi Jal Board at the time? Well, it was Raghav Chadha, of course, at the time. Also, it goes on to say that there was an absence of a strategic plan to provide piped water supply to all the 1,797 unauthorized colonies. Again, think about the number of people that this kind of a delay in the report being published and corrective action being taken has really affected. It goes on to say that DJB was using potable water requirements. There were deficiencies in preparation and the approval of the estimates, delay in awarding and execution of the works, in selection of ineligible bidders and extension of undue benefit to the contractors. If there were indeed undue benefits to the contractors, who gave these undue benefits? And why is it that the AAP government squatted on this report, which was given in 2020 regarding 2017-2018, but till 2022, none of them even bothered to bring it and table it in the assembly so that corrective steps can be taken? Was it inadvertent, as we just heard the BJP alleging that it was all done by design? If there were people who are ineligible, if there were undue benefits given to contractor, who gave it and for what reason? If there was quid pro quo? These are very serious questions that the BJP is raising. However, it is for the state assembly to look at all these reports and to act upon it. That is the problem that the LG has flagged, that despite the CAG report, why hasn't the Delhi government brought this to the tabled it in the assembly and acted upon it?
All right, so that's the big question that the Lieutenant Governor is currently asking, and a letter that has been written to the Delhi Chief Minister. Now, of the points that you've just highlighted, Meghna, take us through the key points highlighted by the Lieutenant Governor and the kind of swift response he's seeking in the near future now, because I believe the end of the letter states how this must not happen in the coming future.
Well, yes, there are several such reports which he has put in, but it's very important for us to also see what the Lieutenant Governor has said, and this is quite damning. I'll take you to this point number 4 in this letter, and I'm going to explain how very categorically the Governor says that there are many such irregularities which have been pointed out in this. They are of serious nature, but it is not clear if tabling of the 4 audit reports in one go afforded enough opportunity for discussion and deliberations in the House. So essentially what the AAP government, after they squatted allegedly on these 4 CAG reports, we are still awaiting for AAP's clarification as to why that happened and if that happened. But the LG is saying that together in one go, you tabled 4 such reports. If there are 4 such reports by the CAG being tabled in the Legislative Assembly, then the MLAs do not have the time to actually process and come up with corrective steps. That's what the LG has said, that you tabled 4 audit reports in one go. It afforded enough opportunity for discussion and deliberations in the House on the observations of the Auditor and General, which is serious in nature and called for an in-depth introspection. Was there enough time for introspection? It does not. In fact, he goes on to say that in the interest of a transparent and accountable governance, which is both efficient and effective, I would like to draw your attention to some of the key points. Those are the points that, of course, we were showing for our viewers right now. Now, this is going to be very important for us to watch out as to what the defense of Arvind Kejriwal government is going to be. We are scrolling towards the end of this report to show what is the final plea which is being made by the Lieutenant Governor. This is it. It says, while I assume the necessary action on the above observations must have been initiated in the larger public interest and in the interest of the good of governance. I will once again urge for you to ensure that in future reports of the Comptroller and Auditor General related to the government of the MCT of Delhi are laid in time before the Legislative Assembly and necessary action being taken.
Absolutely, Meghna. So the LG is saying that first there was a delay in tabling of the reports and then there's a delay in taking action on the reports, and that has all led to wastage and misuse of public funds. Thank you very much, Meghna, for getting us those details. We're moving on now.